2414 Lamar. Oh, that's close. 2414 Lamar. This was where the Presleys moved. It was the first home they'd moved into following Elvis's rising success as a singer. You can see the original house is still there. This front bit here is an extension which came later, of course, but you can see the house there at the rear, the apex roof. Presley's moved here, as I said, in sometime in 1955, and they would remain here till the end of the year. Towards the end of the year, they were definitely still here in October of 1955 when there's a telegram that was sent from Colonel Tom Parker, which had the address for the Presleys here at 2414 Lamar, but it would have been shortly after October, sometime in 1955, that they moved to Getwell. Thursday, 7th of April. Elvis was here again at Alcorn County Courthouse. He played here just a couple of months previously in January, but this time on the 7th of April he had two shows, 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. It was really bad weather on that day, and the show was cancelled due to low attendance. Elvis was feeling a bit despondent of that, so he left the courthouse, came across the road here to Borroums Drugstore, left his guitar behind the counter there, jumped in the car and drove back down to Tupelo just for an hour or two in the afternoon, and he met with his old school friend Becky Martin. He saw her on the street, just pulled up in his Cadillac alongside her, and they went to her father's grocery store and just had some cokes, and Elvis put his own record on the jukebox. Probably just cheered up by going back to familiar territory. Elvis then jumped back in his Cadillac and drove back here to Corinth for his evening performance, his 8 p.m. performance here at the courthouse. A depiction there of Elvis perhaps picking his guitar back up from Borroums with his pink Cadillac with Scotty and Bill standing outside. New Orleans Municipal Auditorium. Elvis played here the first time on May the 1st, 1955. It was one of the first tours that Colonel Tom Parker arranged after the meeting in February in Memphis. Elvis done one brief tour of about 4 or 5 days in February, but this was the Grand Ole Opry tour with Hank Snow headlining and Farron Young. And when Elvis had played here the first time, New Orleans first time, up in the Jesuit High School, apparently there were only around 76 people turned up. But by the time he got here, of course he wasn't the headline act, it was Hank Snow. But after this performance, Hank Snow followed Elvis as the headlining act, but the crowd apparently wouldn't let up, letting them know they wanted Elvis back. And when the announcer said that Elvis was out at the back parking lot signing autographs, half the crowd got up and left Hank Snow singing to half an auditorium. By all accounts, he said to Farron Young, I'm not going to follow that son of a bitch again. And apparently Farron Young said, it's okay, you didn't follow him this time. So, and on the next night, Elvis was shifted to close the first half of the show rather than precede Hank Snow. This is the Ladd Peebles Stadium in Mobile. Elvis played here on the 4th and 5th of May. It was the big Grand Ole Opry tour that Jamboree Attractions through Colonel Tom Parker and Hank Snow that had started on the 1st of May in New Orleans, where Elvis had somewhat upstaged Hank Snow. By the 4th and 5th of May they were playing this stadium. And I think if Scotty Moore remembers of this gig, actually, is Elvis running for his life across the playing field, chased by screaming girls. So he played here 4th and 5th of May. 6th of May, interestingly, he actually left the tour and went back to Memphis to attend his girlfriend Dixie Locke's prom at the Peabody Hotel, before rejoining the tour on the 7th, which is a surprising thing to do at such an early stage in his career on a first major tour. But he left it to attend Dixie's prom. The tour later went on to Florida as well, and that's where the Jacksonville riot took place. So this tour was probably the very first murmurings of Presleymania that was to grip the entire nation by the next year.